So we'll wrap today's show up with another 2026 recruiting story. And it was a short-lived commitment for JaReylan McCoy, one of the top 2026 defensive linemen in the country, as he's decommitted from LSU, committed to the Tigers on January 2nd when he was out at the Under Armour All-American game there. And listen, he's, like I said, a highly coveted 2026 D-line prospect from Mississippi. So he's got all these top SEC schools after him. Was just at Ole Miss over the weekend. Tennessee is in the picture big time. His three finalists when he made his commitment were LSU, USC, and Tennessee. So Tennessee still heavily in the mix. And you'd expect an Ole Miss, a Mississippi State as one of the local programs to keep themselves very much in this battle.
Yeah, this is a guy who's from Tupelo, Mississippi, home of the king, the GOAT, Elvis Presley. So he's not a Louisiana player necessarily. You look at the state of Louisiana from an LSU perspective, Lamar Brown, Dylan Berryman, Darius McKinley. So there's a lot of in-state talent in Louisiana for your LSU that you can rebound with, but has produced some absolutely incredible defensive linemen. I mean, doesn't get any better than Chris Jones, right? Jeffrey Simmons. So Mississippi is a factory in some respects of big athletic defensive linemen. They don't always go to the Mississippi schools. In those two cases, they did. Here, it's Ole Miss, not Mississippi State, that's got a lot of buzz. You just had On3 put in a crystal ball for Ole Miss. He was just at the Ole Miss junior day before deciding to decommit. Number 79 player in the composite. I watched him extensively during Under Armour practice week and then in the game. And I thought he stood out even amongst the best players in the country. And he was only a junior playing up in that Under Armour All-Star game. You know, usually it's only seniors. This year they have juniors playing. And he, as a junior defensive lineman, stood above almost everybody, both literally at his size, listed as 6'6". He could easily be 6'7". And then with his play in the game, he was outstanding. You read some of the reports of how he's been playing at Tupelo. Inconsistent. The team was very good. 14-0, won the Mississippi 6A state championship, but not the most consistent on the field according to people down there on the ground. 30 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks per max prep. So those numbers don't scream top 100 defensive linemen, but this is a traits position. And just watching him with clean eyes, I knew nothing about his high school production. I'm just watching the Under Armour game and saying, who is this monster who can move, who's making plays, and is going to be a really, really big player. Committed to LSU at that game. Obviously, that was a short-lived commitment, but Ole Miss, if they can, they're known so much for what they do in the transfer portal. Guys with this size and athletic ability are very, very hard to get in the portal, or they're very expensive. They've done it, right? They got Princely from UF. They got Walter Nolan from Texas A&M. Two guys that are going to go in the NFL and be paid pretty well. So they've shown the ability to do it at Ole Miss, but it's not easy, and it definitely is not cheap.
Yeah, and you see him here going through some drills at the Under Armour game. It's just that frame of his 6'7", 245. It's not – sometimes you get a 6'6", 6'7" kid at this age, and they have a lot of weight they need to put on. They're really – it's going to be hard to distribute that weight with that length, right? This guy doesn't really look all that far off from putting on that good weight, and it should be distributed pretty well from what it looks like. Not a guy who's very like he's long, but it's not a lanky like need to just put on 40, 50 pounds sort of weight. That could happen naturally.
Yeah, and you look at a guy like, Jared Ivey, right? So Jared Ivey was a transfer from Georgia Tech to Ole Miss, played in the Senior Bowl, going to be the NFL. Some similarities there from a body type standpoint. Big, tall, really athletic guys with some weight on them. But I think, with McCoy, he's even heavier and more talented than Ivy was coming out of high school. Ivy, top 175 player. McCoy currently ranked in the top 100.
So we'll see what happens there. Like we said, SEC schools all over him. One commitment in a month. I have a feeling that if he commits soon, that recruitment still won't be over. This one will probably go till next December, as a lot of these big ones tend to do. But we'll keep you guys updated here on Group Chat Football Live. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as we go live every day here, Monday through Friday. And we'll keep you guys updated on the biggest news in college football, both transfer and recruiting related and much more. Thanks to everyone who was on with us today. See you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.